I've always had a passion for education. I'm a teacher by profession, and then not being in the teaching profession for a while and being in corporate sales at that stage, I decided that I needed to do something that would link me back into education. And this was one of the ways that I saw in giving back. So I started my journey at Zandspruit Primary, which is in Joburg, and I met Vicky, and off we went. And the more I asked Vicky about what is it that we really can do in the school, we kept on saying, well, if we had somebody else in the library, we could man the library. And if we had somebody else who could help in the computer center, then the computers could work, and then we could switch them on and we could have them functional. And if there was someone else in the administration to help sending an SMS to all the parents, maybe we'd get more parents meeting. And so there was a whole lot of tasks that we set ourselves that we wanted to do to see what can we do in order to assist the school. And it constantly came back to the fact that we needed additional resources. At that stage, I was working for ProServe, and we were in learnership development, and I spoke to the management there, and we got a big contract in, and we're looking for host placements. And they then agreed that instead of placing learners on a learnership in businesses, which is the normal traditional practice that you learn how to do something while you're in the working environment, we then changed the model and said, let's bring youth in to work in the schools. At first, it was very skeptical. Will this work? Will it not work? How can someone be placed in an IT lab if there's no IT teacher or expert to show them what to do? So the mentorship and the coaching that goes within a learnership wasn't available. Nevertheless, we tried the program, we put a lot of youth into the schools, and that program proved incredibly successful. Those 90 youth remained on the program. We had an incredibly high retention rate, and we had the schools being really functional. The problem then came when the program ended, the 12-month program ended, and the schools were left under-resourced again, and the youth were not being employed in the education space. So we looked at that model. I tested that again when I was working at LabourNet with a learnership group that we were able to place. We extended it into KZN and Gauteng schools, and we really then formalized our relationship with Symphonia. There was a legislational change that came about in 2018 with the BEE regulations, which then mandated YES and allowed companies and funders to gain additional BEE points participating on the YES program. And what that meant is that youth need to work in an environment for a year and then go into permanent employment after that. We had tested this model in the schools already a couple of years before. We had proven that it is really beneficial for the schools as well as for the youth. And were accepted as a YES, as a Youth Employment Services implementation partner. YES has a lot of flexibility. And so we then grew into taking on youth in our extended mandate to support their schools where needed, to provide a quality working experience for the youth in the education space, and thereby allowing the quality of education to improve as a whole. So since we started that, we kept on asking the schools, what is the need? And the needs have changed. We started off with a lot of administrators in schools, where we placed youth mainly into administration roles. But now with COVID, we have a lot of them in IT labs. Technical support was most needed, getting more youth into the workplace or getting the learners and the pupils in schools more interactive in computers, having websites that are up and running and having youth engage on those websites and parents to be able to go on those websites. Those were all added values that we then found that the schools needed. And at one stage, we put a lot of sports coaches into schools because sports coaches were not generally funded by the education department. So we asked the school, what is the need? We asked the funder if there's a specific angle that they wish to fund in. So CSIR, for example, wanted technical support. and they asked us to really focus on IT. And we matched the two together. And this has proven very successful. Like I've said, we still have a 96% retention rate. We have youth really providing many services that without those youth would not happen. We have got some in ECD, in early childhood development, in teacher assistance, in extramurals, even running the choirs, manning the tuck shops, looking at the food supplies, hosting in the books. So there's a variety of different services that these youth then offer the schools. Yeah, so Louise, that was my journey really from being a partner at PfP to becoming involved really as an active partner, to then seeing that this is a gap that exists that I can take over as a business. And so Jacinta and I teamed up at the beginning of 2019. And from then on, we founded Youth at Work, and we have been doing youth placements predominantly through the Youth Employment Services and placing them into schools.
Wow, that's an amazing story, Erica. I've heard it a few times, and every time I hear your story, I'm just inspired about it again. So you're going to introduce our first youth who's going to tell us her story.
Yes, so I would like to introduce Shanice, right? I haven't got the agenda in front of me.
Shanice Idapa.
Shanice is a wonderful young lady. We first met her, I remember interviewing her at Bonella Primary School in KZN in Durban, and she's an exceptionally passionate person studying to become a teacher. And those are people we really often like to support because they have a passion for the trade. They really want to become teachers. And it's no better place to practice that than being on one of our programs. And Shanice just kept on amazing us. She just never went short of the kindness of schools and starting all sorts of interventions. So Shanice has been a massive inspiration, and I really invite you today.
Sorry, I am trying to mute this. And for some reason, I'm not able to mute the. Okay, there you go. Sorry, okay. Erica, for that. So just about Shanice.
I would like to really welcome Shanice. She's been a massive inspiration to all of us. She has attended all the sessions. She's been really supportive, and she has made the most out of our Yes Year. And she can tell you what she's doing now and how this Yes Year has launched her. Welcome, Shanice.
Hi, Shanice. We're delighted to have you, and sorry for just muting you there for a moment. We'd love to hear your story, Shanice. How have you benefited from this program?
Okay, hi, everyone. Thank you, Erica, for that wonderful introduction.
Shanice, you're going to have to speak up a bit or go closer to your microphone because we can't hear you for some reason.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me now? Am I loud? Okay. All right. Okay,
we probably should have tested. I'm realizing we should have tested the sound, Shanice. But if you speak loudly, we'll hear you.
All right.
Yes.
Let me try. All right. Hi, everyone. Firstly, I would like to start out by saying that, well, I'm an opportunist. I take every opportunity as a stepping stone to success. And that has been one of my daily successful affirmations. And why I got into the YES program was at that point, I was unemployed. And obviously, I wanted to get into an educational setting. And my pastor works at my play school. She said to me, there's an opportunity for you to be at our school. It isn't much of the money, if that was what it was about, but it was about the experience that would have been more worthwhile for me. So I jumped right into that opportunity and I went full hands on. My duty when I started at YES was to be a librarian intern. And going into the school, the library was not functional. I had to make it functional for all the grades, and that took research, hard work, going into other school libraries, asking around, just being proactive and flexible. So I did that. Thereafter, in addition to that, there was a computer room which was not functional. So I did computer classes with the intermediate and senior phase. And again, I was proactive, and I saw that as an opportunity to gain knowledge and more experience for myself, as well as benefiting the school. And then I helped out with admin. I was like my principal's personal assistant with admin and whatever she needed. I was there for her. And then we did, lastly, we spoke about a program which will motivate and inspire the young adults at our school, the teenagers. So I came up with a program. It was a modeling and mentoring program, which was there to encourage, motivate, and also teach the daily things that we want to teach our learners and give them exposure. I do have a social media platform, which I do all of that, and I post all of that, successful stories. So after I had hosted this wonderful beauty pageant for them, and we worked for 3 months where I inspired them and I motivated them. And at the end of this program, I had to get sponsors and raise lots of funds, which I had to do. And that meant working after my hours of yes, doing research, getting everything sorted, getting judges, getting money, raising money for the school as well as for this competition that I'm going to host. Thereafter, it was successful. The kids learned so much. They built on their confidence. I built on my confidence. It was wonderful. And thereafter, after all of that pageant, as I said, that uh, we after that pageant was successful, I got an opportunity and a random request to just take part for something called Miss Ambassador 2019, which I wasn't so adamant at first. But thereafter, I told some of my learners about it, and they were so excited. They said, "Why don't you take part?" And well, I wasn't so excited about it. Then the next day, I thought about it, and as soon as I walked into my library, I saw some sticky notes all over my wall, and one note in particular that really touched my heart was, they said to me, and something that I had told them in our training was, uh, you believe, they said to me, "Ma'am, you believed in us when we thought we couldn't do it. And now it's time for you to believe in yourself because we believe in you." And those words just touched my heart, coming from the children that I loved so much. And they found a special place in my heart. After that, I entered the competition. I took part in this competition. It was 2 months. And considering all the work that I had done at this school, I had to still do the competition. And I was in my first year of my studies to become an educator towards my B.Ed degree. So I had my hands full, but like I said, I was a hard worker, I was flexible, and I took every opportunity I could get to gain that experience. So I'm going to fast forward my competition to the Miss Ambassador. On that night, I walked away with Miss Ambassador Charity Queen. And in my mind, why did I win this charity award? But then they said to me, the work you have done. Because important to note at this point that when I started with the YES program, I was a librarian. The admin, the computers, the reading program, all of that was me. And it was me going above and beyond and going the extra mile and trying to help out because I saw a need. I saw it as a personal gain. I saw it as my future goal to help. It was amazing. And after me winning the charity award, I won the Miss Ambassador title 2019. And I also won the Best Dressed and Best Smile award. So 3 awards on one night. I'm walking out feeling super proud. The next day, going to tell my learners that I I was the one that was not excited about this, but I walked out with the most amount of awards. So I was so excited. I went and told my learners about it. They was thrilled. They were so excited for me. We built each other. We built our confidence. We said, you know what, we can do anything. We just need to believe in ourselves. And that was belief in ourselves was one of the most important things that I've learned. Believe, being humble, and just being there. And furthermore, before I could start in this year's program, I applied to one of my desired schools, Crawford North Coast, one of the best schools on the KZN province. And 9 months going into the year's program, they have emailed me saying, we have a position for you to learn and grow. Would you like to come experience our teaching as a locum for 3 weeks? And Erica and my place principal, along with the teachers, they saw my potential and they said, you know what, this is your opportunity. You waited for this. You deserve it. You go. And they were behind me every step of the way. They said, you know what, you go. You can get this done. And I had motivation from them. So I went to my desired school and I did my 3 weeks and I got back on the program. And at the end of my 12-month program, I got confirmation and they have given me a position as an aftercare supervisor at Crawford North Coast. I was so excited, and yet again, another big opportunity. Thereafter, I had an article. I was told to write an article on my achievements thus far in the YES program and my titles. And I was featured in the newspaper. And then again, I had more recognition. YES did. My school did. I started getting donations for them. I started doing more things above and beyond. So that's what I meant with that. I just want to encourage every youth on this program is look at this time as an opportunity and not merely a salary at the end of the month. Take this opportunity as to grow holistically and to be honest, determined, inspirational youth that will make South Africa a better place. Because I know I did, and I've really made an impact, and people noticed that, even though I didn't see it at first, but others around me did. Let's just do that. And yeah, that's my story summarized.
Thank you very much, Shanice. We can listen to you for the whole day. Unfortunately, we don't have the whole day. It's a very inspirational story. I'm sorry, everybody, that we couldn't hear Shanice so well. We would have to record this again because it's such a beautiful story that definitely deserves to be shared. But we got a very strong sense of your story. Thank you very much, Shanice. The next person who's going to tell his story is Ashley Shadung. Ashley, you've got 4 minutes because we are going to have to keep a close eye on time, and we'd love to hear your story around your involvement in the Youth at Work program and how you have benefited.
Louis, thank you so much for having me. I want to thank Erica as well. I want to thank Mr. Makasani, my previous mentor, who was the principal at Sandown High School, for accepting to attend this session. However, he could not end up attending. So I hope that we're recording so that he can get a copy of it. Okay. So here's how my experience before, during, and after the YES program went. By the end of January 2019, I had lost my second job in the space of 3 months, and I was devastated by my lack of skills in the workplace. But I still looked for a job with agencies the likes of Harambe, and I proactively delivered CVs at every place I could. My determination to find employment led me to find out about the Youth Employment Services, which is based on upskilling youth with first-hand experience in workplaces, such as schools, which are an environment that is conducive of learning at all points of a hierarchy. So I my opportunity for what it was worth in February 2019 when I was called in for an interview at Merlyne High School. The 12-month program had
Sorry, Ashley, we just need to check. We seem to have quite a lot of background noise. Is that coming from where you are? Goodness, there seems to be some background noise. And we just need to find out where that's coming from.
It was my alarm. I set an alarm. Okay, that's not me. Okay, so as I was saying, the 12-month years program has been a life-changing experience for me, and I am most appreciative for that opportunity and the investment that YES and Liquid Telecom have made in me, as I have received experience in office administration, written and oral communication, coordination, and overall institutional support, including other skills that I have picked up through career development workshops, which were provided by the YES program and the Oral Institute. These are to maintain professional and personal discipline. At 11 months of the internship program, unemployment was lurking, and I was faced with the challenge of continuing to provide for my little brother and older sister, as well as to commit to my agreement with UNICEF. So I started hand delivering my such as Investec, the Maslow Hotel, shops in Central City, etc., etc. But it was not working. I had to job somehow. So a dear friend of mine, Mario, which is an attachment that generates in an industry, in any industry, and any position on LinkedIn. And I put in late nights and early mornings. I was able to reach out to around 600 people in different positions and industries who, by the final week of my internship, offered me 4 viable jobs, each at a school, a warehouse, a web developer, and a corporate company. I went with the latter choice of corporate for reasons regarding my career path. The work experience equipped me to take charge of my future, and I have decided that I'm going to become a lawyer. I started working at Forest Hill Shopping Center a day after my internship ended, where my tasks include, but do not limit me to, a sidewalk where I check the cleanliness of the center, the functionality of our iPoints, ATMs, lifts, and entrance sliding doors, to name a few. As a guest relations officer, I am tasked with assisting our visitors with all their inquiries, namely trading hours, store directions, general mall information, and gift card sales. My responsibilities also include, but do not limit me to, compiling a sidewalk report to send to my manager every day, ensuring that all gift card sales have been filed accordingly, and that our gift card register is up to date. My biggest responsibility is the maintenance of the information desk and the professional ambience of the center. I'll have to cut it short for now. I'll have to say thank you for the opportunity and your time.
Thank you so much, Ashley, and thank you for sharing what's happened to you and how this program has impacted you. Jacinta, I want to hand over to you and ask you, how does it feel when you hear these stories of Ashley and Shanice? And also, maybe if you could tell us a little bit more about the impact, how many youth you've placed, what's been the impact on the schools, and what's the feedback that you're getting, and also the impact on the learners and school communities. So over to you, Jacinta.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Louise. When I hear these stories, Shanice and Ashley, to me, they are real examples of how a supported one-year work experience in a school environment can be a catalyst for change in an unemployed youth's life. A real game changer for both of them, as they now have moved from unemployment into permanent employment. The impact is real on multiple levels: the unemployed youth, the school, and the wider communities. Erica has already covered what has been done between 2013 and 2018, primarily via the learnership model. And since the beginning of 2019, via the YES funding, we have placed over 800 unemployed youth in 343, mostly PfP schools across 8 provinces. We are determined to also bring these youth work experiences to our last remaining province, being the Northern Cape in the near future. The youth salaries are funded and often paid directly by South African corporates via their BEE spend and the YES program. And our youth have been funded by Nedbank, the CSIR, Toyota, MMT Inland, Canon, Signia, Workmans, Novus Print, Krones, just to name a few. And we thank them for investing in youth employment. The principals in schools overall really appreciate the work that the youth are doing within the schools as the youth take on roles as teaching assistants, IT support, admin support, sports coaches, ECD assistants, and teacher interns. During the COVID pandemic, it has really been business unusual for all of us. And our youth have shown great resilience and have learned to adapt to change as they navigate the COVID-19 in their work environment. And these are valuable life skills, being able to adapt to change. The youth have taken on additional responsibilities by getting involved in COVID sanitization and social distance monitoring within the schools. The youth from time to time also take over administrative and classroom duties for school staff members who are absent due to the COVID-19 exposure. The learners at the schools are equally excited about having young and energetic YES youth working at their schools. We have received feedback that the additional capacity of youth working within the schools is positively impacting on the on-time reporting by the schools to district levels, compilation of exam marks and school reports, and managing the receipt and distribution of textbook environment. And most recently, during the lockdown, while the schools were closed, the youth played a critical role in the distribution of food parcels and feeding schemes for the larger school communities. We have found that placing youth within the PfP school network of particular benefit, as the schools are well run and the principals and supervisors have a genuine interest in mentoring the youth. This is of particular importance as a big focus of the 12-month period is also about supporting the youth in what they are going to be doing after the program. We work very closely with the principals to see if any of the youth are suited to be considered for SGB funded posts after their 12-month placements. We have PfP business partners who assist with job searches and run mock interviews. We also have funders who have taken on youth for entry-level positions within their operations after the 12-month YES program. And also corporates who have decided to continue funding a youth to keep working within the school environment on a permanent contract basis. So in summary, I would like to note that the youth work placements in schools is a story of real collaboration and achieves impact in supporting quality education and youth employment creation. Thank you very much, Louise.
That's beautiful, Jacinta, and it's definitely very obvious from the stories. I am hoping that we can hear from just one or two of the principals, because I saw earlier that we've got some of those principals on the call. So if it is possible for them to share maybe one or two of the principals after Dini is has spoken. But first, let's hear from Dini, who is going to tell us, that's Dini Mnuko, who's going to tell us about his experience of being part of the youth program, the Youth at Work program. Is Dini Mnuko?
Yes,
Dini.
yes. Yeah, madam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, I'm good, thanks. Is the sound quality okay on your side? Can you hear me clearly?
It is much better. It's fabulous. Thank you very much. We can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you. My name is Thandi Morupane. I'm currently employed by Impala Refineries as a senior process operator. I'm a UJ alumnus carrying a diploma in operations management. So my journey with youth at work begins last year, 2019. It was a very stressful month, January, February. I was unemployed. So a friend of mine suggested we should go to Harambee and attend one of the seminars. We got there, we created accounts, which linked us to possible employers. That's when we got to know youth at work. I got invited to Tuko Primary School at Katlehong. We went there to attend the seminar. Then the following week, I attended my first interview. I got a call from Jacinta, Youth at Work. I did my first interview. I did my second interview, both successful. And I was placed at Itumeleng Primary School in Germiston as a lab facilitator, computer lab facilitator. My task was simple. It was just to carry out a program called Reading Eggs. There was a program called Reading Eggs by CLIVE Foundation. So mine to do was just to educate the learners how to operate the computers. Reading Eggs, you know, the program there, it deals with science, basic numeracy, and English. It improves their reading skills also. They even started writing better English, you know, talking better English. So it just improved their lives also as students, much more less stressful. Some were even interested in writing poems, you know, taking up the plots of being of debating such challenges, you know. So when I was at Itumeleng Primary Schools, those are my duties. I also assisted in the administration office, writing letters. I was also responsible for writing trip letters. I left Itumeleng Primary Schools just before there was a trip. I was the organizer of the trip. It was going to Planetarium, you know. Yes. So this exciting journey, because we had Nedbank also was involved. You know, we attended sessions with Nedbank. They taught us about being financially smart, you know, money wisdom. I like to call it money wisdom, because they taught us to draft a budget, how to stick to your budget, to manage it and be consistent with it, not just to manage it, but also exercise consistency. Yes. The journey. So on one of the sessions we had with Youth at Work, we introduced to an online program, an online institution named Ellison. I took up a course, occupational health and safety. So I did well on the course. Then I uploaded it on LinkedIn, updated my resume, and that's how I got a call from my current employer, Impala Refineries. They wanted to know if will I be available to work with them. I immediately called Jacinta, explained to her the situation. She didn't hesitate. She called Yes, Youth Employment Services, and they made arrangements to make sure that I had a swift move from my previous employment to my current job, which I'm very grateful of. And also, I aspire to become a quality controller in the future. And there's some opportunities at work right now. So I've applied, fingers crossed, hoping for something bigger. Not that I'm not grateful. I appreciate every effort, every opportunity I've received, every assistance from the Youth Employment Services, from Youth at Work, the CLIVE Foundation, Harambee, and every stakeholder involved. Shout out to Nedbank also, because they give us some ching, you know, to make sure we get to work, and also buy our own data, you know, data these days. Yes, that's my short story. I'm very grateful to Jacinta and the whole team. Thank you.
So Dini, before you disappear, I want to quickly tell you a story. So firstly,
Okay.
thank you for taking the day off so that you could be with us today. But
Okay,
about 5 or 6 years ago, I was sitting in a hotel in Qatar and I met the founder of Alliston. His name is Mike Feerick, and he told me about Allison. And if I'm going to share the story with him. We're going to share this little clip with him, and it will make him very happy to know that the impact that Allison is having. And I really want to encourage everybody on this call to make the most of what Allison is able to offer and to do those courses, get those certificates, make sure that people know what you're worth and what you're possible, what you're able to do. So thanks, Dini, for your story. I got a message from someone saying, oh, we have to make this happen in the Northern Cape, because as Erica said earlier, that's the one province where we don't have this working yet. And we have many PfP schools in the Northern Cape, Erica and Jacinta. So please, could you try and make that happen for us. I want to, so we've heard from the people who were the kind of featured contributors. We have a few minutes left, and I'm very keen to hear from maybe one or two of the principals who have had some of these youth in their schools, if they are able to just put their hand up or unmute themselves and just share with us a little bit about what's the impact been for them in their schools. So we haven't arranged this with them, we've not contracted this with them, but I just want to see whether we have any of the principals, the PfP principals on the call who have had youth at work, young people in their schools. Doesn't look as if we have. I'm not seeing any hands. I'm not seeing anybody unmuting themselves. Erica, maybe you wanted to just say something else in response to what we've heard.
Yeah, thank you, Louise. Yeah, I just really want to.
Erica, sorry,
Yes.
I'm going to just interrupt you. We've got Benjamin Peterson, who's just unmuted himself, and I think he's one of your principals, isn't he? Benjamin, can you just share with us a little bit about what's the impact's been for you in the school to have some of these young people working in your school?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Louise, and thank you very much for having us. Well, I'll start off by saying that if I did not have a youth at work candidate in the school at present, I probably would not have been able to join this meeting. And so I'm extremely grateful for that. But I think one also has to be very, very honest and brutal about it. And so I'm going to dive in quickly and say, you know, when we were invited to make the necessary application, I obviously jumped at it. At a school like ours, where human resources is always a challenge, it was a blessing. And indeed, I'm grateful to the program for that, because it has helped us to really manage ourselves through the day with large classes and under-resourced teachers at our school. Unfortunately, we don't have the resources to appoint additional teachers. And so let me reflect on the first term. Our intern was very helpful, you know, in especially sports with PE, teacher assistant. And then COVID-19 came along and lockdown and all of that. And so it's presented a huge amount of challenges for us. But I think just to say that our youth has been very helpful, very, very, very useful. Fortunately, as one of our former matric students, and so we kind of know the kind of people that we have. I must also say, and as I said, I need to be brutal. There's a lot of soft skills that needs to be taught to young people today, and preparing them for employment for the rest of their lives. And so this program has allowed me to kind of mentor we've got Shane Jardine at our school. And so, yeah, I thought I'd just share that with you. Immense program. I can, if I reflect on the growth within the candidate, I can identify that. And so it's work in progress. And so I sincerely hope that we can continue in this way moving forward. Thank you.
So Benjamin, can I just before you disappear, what you're saying now is exactly what I've heard Erica say many times in the past. What a privilege for that young man to be mentored by you. So there's a big difference from being a teacher to a mentor. And now he's getting the value from getting your mentorship, which must be life-changing for him. So I just want to say to you on behalf of all of the adults in our country, thank you for your role and for your willingness to say yes to this. As Jacinta and Erica have said, this whole Youth at Work program is really an example of collaboration and partnership. So if it's not for your yes, and it's not for Erica's yes, and Jacinta's yes, and then the young people, lots of people saying yes, and then just giving it their best. And I love the stories that we heard so far. And we've got 210 people on this call. Many of them are young people. So I'm sure there are many, many more stories. But thanks, Benjamin. I see there's a Wowie Y72019 who's put his or her hand up. So just want to check who that is. Can you just unmute yourself and tell us who you are?
Shabalala SP. Good morning. Hi, everyone. It's Mrs. Shabalala. How are you?
Fine, thank
It's
you. And are
Mrs.
you a
Shabalala.
Are you a principal?
Yes, please. It's a principal. Mrs. Shabalala, where Shanice was. I've
Wow.
appreciated.
Oh, that's right. So where
Yes,
Shanice
Erica. How are you,
Oh,
Erica?
fantastic.
I'm
Happy
still
to
with
see.
3 interns. Shanice is a supervisor, by the way, for these 3 interns. So we will appreciate it every moment she was with us. Many programs were happening. I'm just about to retire. I've been happily working because there were no stress having the interns. I would appreciate Erica if I will have more, or if I will keep these 2 because one has got an opportunity. So Shanice is next to us. She always pop in. So we will appreciate if we still move on with the 2 interns that are still left with us, because the library is still without a librarian since there was a lockdown and the department is doing its thing. So we will appreciate because we are seeing the impact. We are seeing really the impact. And these 2 interns that are with us, they are doing their round, they are all rounders. They are there in the library, they are there in the admin, even in classes, and all the programs they are doing. So we appreciate it, Erica. It really made a great difference. Please carry on. Thank you so much.
So I just want to say, we've just got a message from Shanice that says, Mrs. Sharp, the best mentor ever. I love her. And this is what we are all taking away from this real sense of love and appreciation and people working across traditional boundaries and new capacity being built across the system. So we are running out of time. I do want to give Erica a last word, and then we're going to hear just very briefly from Shanice and Ashley, Jacinta and Dini. But Erica, we'll start with you. Any final thoughts from you?
Yes, thank you. I just want to share that all of us, not only all of 200 on the call, but all of us in our areas, I think every South African and everyone around is deeply involved and committed to providing an education that is worthy of the name education to all of our children. It really, we have to build South Africa from the bottom up to live our passion, to share what we know, to share our knowledge, to share, like you say, all the soft skills. This is how you do it. This is what you don't do. This is what you need to do on a daily basis. And that transition is building us. So our passion really is definitely to continue. We just need funders to believe in us, and the money will flow out. We really would encourage those principals to continue being the best mentors ever to those youth, and also to looking out for jobs for them, to make them skilled so that they can enter any profession that they then choose to go into. And if those youth move from fixed term contract into a permanent contract somewhere else, then we keep on supporting the schools with other youth who then take on those journeys. So I'm really proud, I'm really grateful, and I'm honored to be part of this program and to be part of so many beautiful South African people's lives. Thank you, Louise, for really starting off PfP and this whole journey. I'm really excited that my partner Mike is on the journey too. So it's become a family kind of thing to do. I really also want to mention Robin, who's been instrumental in keeping us all together, and all of those funders, and the beautiful YES team, Farai, Victoria, and the rest of the YES team, for always being so supportive and for helping us being such a great IP implementation partner. And thanks to the amazing Youth at Work team, who really do all the background work. Together, this is a really big team effort. Together, we make it work. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. And I just want to acknowledge that there's been lots of comments coming into the chat. So what I will do at the end of the call is I will send the chat to Erica and Jacinta, because I see there are lots of kind of, please can we help at our school. So we'll definitely make sure that they get the information. And thank you for all those kind of appreciations, Erica. This is it's always a kind of, none of these things happen with one person. It always happens with a group of people working together. And this is a beautiful example of collaboration. I do want to encourage everybody, if you've not bought the book yet, The chapter 11 in the book is definitely worth reading, and we want you to buy the whole book so that you can read all the stories. So please let us know. We will send you the details about how to get hold of the book as a follow-up on this call. Let's hear from Shanice. So Shanice, do you have any final thoughts from us? For us, from your perspective? Just need to unmute yourself if you can. Thank you, Shanice.
All right. Just enjoy this. Take full advantage of the opportunity.
Shanice, you're going to we want to hear you, so you're going to have to either speak up much closer to the microphone.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me now? Is that
can.
a little bit better? All right. I'd like to say, just take full opportunity, go out there, strive, do your best, have fun, and just be you, but work a little bit more harder, and you'll get there. And we all have one thing in common. We all want to be prosperous in our careers, and we will. But you just put in more work than the rest, and you'll definitely reach that goal. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Shanice. Let's hear from Ashley. Ashley, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I want to encourage all youth to keep believing in yourself as the future of this world. Do all that is in your power to improve your knowledge and empower one another. We are all inextricably on the same journey. And lastly, keep your eyes wide open, because when you look for opportunity, opportunity opens itself to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ashley. Those are very, very important words. It sounds a bit like one of these commencement speeches that we hear at the graduation at university. So both of you are definitely, you've got a motivational speaker in it's part of your future. I'm sure Dini has as well. Let's hear from Jacintha. Jacintha, any final thoughts from you?
Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. And what I found very exciting about today's session is that the stories really bring to life the title of our chapter, in the book, which is Harnessing the Power of Collaboration. And it's collaboration on a very practical day-to-day level, which creates these youth employment opportunities and supports the schools with much needed resources. So thank you very much, Louise, and all of your Symphonia colleagues for your continued support and for believing in us and allowing us to work within the network of the PfP schools. Thank you.
We love having you in the PfP schools, so please just don't take your eyes off that very important community. Thank you, Jacintha. And then last but not least, let's hear from Dini.
Okay, hi everyone again. When it comes to growing as an individual, I have to say, find a mentor, it's necessary. And then build a dream, design a dream in your head, then keep direction, stay focused. That's all that matters, because if you want to grow as an individual, you have to make a decision that, I want to grow. Have you seen people who build their bodies? They wake up in the morning, they do their exercises, they stick to their diet plans to get to the top. That's all you have to do. Just stick to the plan. You'll get there. I promise you'll get there. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dini. Thank you, everybody. I have a very strong sense that we need to do another one of these sessions. There's still many more stories that deserve to be told. We want to get Jacintha clearer on the microphone so that we can share that story, because it's definitely a story that requires to be shared. So I don't know whether any of us, let's say those of us who want to just have a conversation about next steps, just stay on the call for a few more minutes. And for everybody else, have a good day, and we hope to remain in touch. Please buy a copy of the book. Please tell everybody else about this amazing program so that we can have more funders, more supporters, and more young people being set up for life. And thank you to all the principals who are on the call, and the business leaders and the members of the Partners for Possibility community. We appreciate you. Have a fantastic day.
Good Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you soon.
Very big.
Bye.
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 Bye. We've got to say goodbye in our way. Everybody, say a general goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Thank you, Donovan. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Apa now kan bawa no kasat pun. Kita say bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye from Citizen Special School.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining. Well done.
Bye-bye from Citizen Special School.
Principal was recommended. I go contact her. Bye. Sorry. Bye.
Okay, Louise.
Bye.